Greetings world. We are anonymous.
In 2013, UK native Lauri was arrested under the 1990 Computer Misuse Act, which covers, among other things, criminal hacking. He was never informed of the crimes he had supposedly committed, and the Crown Prosecution Service later announced that it no longer intended to prosecute. However, in 2015, Love was arrested once again, this time for charges imposed by the US government. Currently, he could face up to 47 years in the US prison system, and now fights extradition. His legal team initially calculated that he could receive up to a 99-year sentence.
So imagine you woke up one day and in the country where you've lived all your life, and some people turned up at the door saying that another country that you've never visited thinks that you've committed some serious violations of their laws. They'd like very much to kidnap you and take you there and lock you up for the rest of your life. To make matters worse, your own government is conspiring to help them do this, and nothing you can say, no amount of protestations of your innocence will make any difference, because they don't have to prove a single thing to have you removed from that country. How would that make you feel? And how would it make you feel knowing that it could happen to anyone who falls on the wrong side of the US government?
The US government believes that Love, a computer programmer, led Anonymous's 2013 Operation Last Resort, which involved breaking into the website of the US Sentencing Commission. The front page of the website was replaced with a 10-minute video in which Anonymous declared cyber war against the US judicial system. A host of other US government websites were broken into as well, and sensitive information was obtained. This information was packaged into a series of password-encrypted files and uploaded to the internet with demands for judicial reform. Love has not professed his innocence to the US's accusations of his involvement, due to the US's refusal to show him any evidence. As of now, he cannot say either way. News of the operation was highly publicized at the time, along with the fact it took the FBI a week to close any backdoors used by the hacktivists. This was a highly embarrassing state of affairs for the Bureau, who appeared amateurish compared to the anonymous hackers. Among the reasons for the 2013 Anonymous operation was the case of computer programmer and hacktivist Aaron Swartz. Swartz downloaded more than 4 million documents from a database of academic journals at MIT. This was to bring attention to the public distribution of academic research, or lack thereof. The act was considered to be harmless by those in the academic world, and MIT did not press charges on Swartz. Nor did JSTOR, the database from which the files were downloaded. And yet, the US government, in an effort to make an example out of him, pursued Swartz with zeal. Potentially faced with a 35-year prison sentence, he tragically committed suicide. The Guardian reports Love was among the hacktivists who believed the US government targeted Swartz for retribution. Swartz had previously co-authored software called Deaddrop, now known as SecureDrop, which allows whistleblowers to send sensitive documents to journalists. Love believes the intelligence community held a grudge against Swartz. In an interview with RT, Barrett Brown reports,
I'm now joined by US investigative journalist Barrett Brown. Barrett, hello to you. You were arrested by the FBI back in 2012 on hacking-related charges, and you ended up in jail. What can Lauri Love expect if he does face the US justice system?
Well, any of us who are indicted in the U.S. or by the U.S. on any charges involving leaking, whistleblowing, anything that involves trying to take information from the U.S. government and its corporate allies and present them to the public can expect a much worse degree of prosecutorial misconduct than even the average defendants in the U.S. In my case, which was very well documented by publications around the world, and by myself in the column that I wrote from prison, they they will over-indict people to begin with, as they have done in Lori Love's case. They will indict them on flimsy charges that they know won't stick, as they did in my case. I was indicted on 17 counts, and 11 of those had to be dropped by the government itself. They'll sort of shift around in their explanations of what he did wrong. FBI agents will lie at will on the stand, as they did in my case when they claimed I had traveled to Tunisia earlier, which I'd never been anywhere near Tunisia, that sort of thing. But the problem with the U.S. justice system is that it's one of those things that no one actually seriously asserts that it works properly, both on the left and the right in Congress, publications in the U.S.
So what you're saying here is actually the nature of your crime. We're seeing actually revenge superseding justice in these particular cases.
Absolutely.
Love is now being pursued by the US government with the same zeal with which they pursued Swartz. And like Swartz, Love's life is at risk. If extradited to the US and convicted, Love is likely to be detained at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York, and the Metropolitan Correction Center in Manhattan. Both of these federal prisons have notorious reputations for their inhumane conditions. Love suffers from Asperger's, a mild autism spectrum disorder, as well as depression and drug-resistant eczema. If extradited and convicted, there is a very high risk he would commit suicide.
I don't sleep well. I have eczema, which is related to my stress, so I quite often claw my face. Some days I don't leave the house for a few days. I kind of keep a mental count of how many times I think about suicide. It's kind of a baseline of 3 to 5 times a day on a good day. I do suffer from the stress. You know, all of my hair fell out when I was 15, and that was just the stress of moving from Wiltshire to Suffolk.
According to Love's attorney, experts familiar with the prisons he would be sent to provided evidence that neither of the facilities would be able to give Love the suitable care he needs. His attorney stated to the Lord Chief Justice, "We are not arguing for impunity. We are arguing that the place for him to be tried, if he is tried, is in the UK, and not the US." Love's attorneys hope to prevent extradition using the forum bar, a defense for extradition for vulnerable defendants who would be better tried in the UK. Similar hacking cases have been dealt with in the UK as well, including those of Love's sect members, who conducted what has been called the largest cyber attack in history. In fact, according to Love's father, he would be the only person who has ever been extradited on charges related to computer hacking. On November the 30th, a hearing at the Court of Appeal was heard. Ken MacDonald, the former Director of Public Prosecutions for England and Wales, provided written evidence at the hearing stating that it is not normal practice to extradite hackers for prosecution who have been accused of attacking the US. He confirms that Love is being treated unusually in this case. Meanwhile, Love's US attorney, Tori Kelland, provided evidence that since Trump's election, the US has adopted an unprecedented aggressive stance towards hackers. Under Trump's dictatorship, prosecutors seek to impose the harshest possible sentences. Citizens around the world are expressing their support for Love. This includes more than 70 MPs who have written to the Attorney General and Prime Minister, pressuring them to support a UK trial. Judgment has been reserved on the appeal hearing, and a decision is expected in early 2018. Those of us within the anonymous movement will do our part to bring further attention to Love's case. To read this report's transcript in full, and for links to sources, please visit www.anonhq.com. We are anonymous. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.